Everybody knows that there are still unidentified victims on Gilgo that were found on Gilgo Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one in particular, April 1996, legs and feet were found on the bayside shore of Fire Island. And that's a mile west of Davis Park Beach.
Okay.
Okay. And this is Jane Doe 7. Well, today, they finally released, they've identified her. Now, there's not any charges or, like, confirmed connection to Rex Heuermann yet, but he's the main suspect,
Sure.
of course.
Yeah.
And
it's a convenient dumping ground.
Yeah. Her name is Karen Vergata. Now, I wanted to see if I could, because there was no missing persons report when this woman went missing at all. And she's believed to be an escort as well.
Okay.
And I wanted to know...
Rex's M.O.
Yep. It does fit his M.O. They did later find a skull, which I guess I'll just say that now. So, 15 years later, a skull was discovered on Tabay Beach. I actually don't... It's in Nassau County, though.
Mm-hmm.
So, they did a DNA analysis in 2011 on, like, the legs and the feet and the skull, and they matched. So, they figured out those are connected. That's one person.
Yeah.
And then she was dubbed Jane Doe 7, Fire Island Jane Doe. So last year, actually, in August, is when the task force found this evidence of who she was, but they're just now releasing it because of the investigation.
Okay.
So actually, this has been known.
Okay.
And they confirmed it with a relative of hers.
Yeah, I just saw an update earlier today, and that's weird that they've had this the whole time, but maybe they've just been secretly trying to connect it to Rex, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's... So it says a DNA profile suitable for genealogical comparisons was developed from the remains. They did a review, like a genealogy review, and they identified her actually in September. So in August is when they decided they could do it. Then September last year is when they actually identified her.
Okay.
So yeah, they just they've been investigating it, and they didn't want to publicly disclose it yet for some reason. It doesn't say. I don't know why. It's just the investigation. So I wanted to see if I could figure out, like, who she was, because there was no missing persons report. So obviously her family wasn't, like, looking for her.
Yeah, that's sad.
It is. But I found out that she actually called... Her dad was in prison at the time.
Okay.
Which...
That she went missing?
Yeah.
Okay.
In 1996. So she's presumed to have been working in New York as an escort, and it says that she called her dad on Valentine's Day, which is also his birthday, in prison, and then he never heard from her again. And he said she did sound, like, kind of off. And he actually enlisted the help of a PI, a private investigator, later to find her.
Really?
Which also is weird to me. Then why? Because when I look this up, every article I'm seeing is like, no missing persons report of her, she's been identified. And then randomly, I find this one article that talks about her father, and he enlisted a PI?
Yeah.
So why is there not a missing persons report? I haven't...
That's strange.
Yeah, I haven't made this connection yet. Why some media is saying this and other media is saying this. Not sure yet.
Weird.
But he's dead now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad. Was that her only connection to a family member that they know of?
I mean, I think she has other family, but they said that she was Like, she has sons, apparently, but I guess she had children, but they said she was so in and out of contact when they just didn't hear from her for a really long time. They're like, oh, we thought she was dead.
It was like common. Gosh.
Yeah, it was, that's what I'm saying. Nobody else was really looking for her, so but I feel like that's contradictory if her father was looking for her.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So maybe there is more to it, and we don't really understand that yet.
Okay, so 2 months later, Attorney Ray Tierney said at a press conference Friday that they were able to do the DNA profile. So that's the district attorney. And 2 months later, Vergata's father, Raymond, died at the age of 87 with no cause of death listed. The lawyer said that she lived in Manhattan, In 1987, 5 years later after his death, her father filed a petition in New York State Circuit's Court to have his daughter legally declared dead in order to collect a pair of life insurance policies in her name. Do you see what I'm saying? How does that make sense?
Yeah. Like, the missing person report might just be missing itself. Because that doesn't really make sense when you have a PI who's looking into this, and one of the first things that a PI would do would go to the police to see if they've made any progress on a missing persons report. And yeah, I hear you. That is kind of strange.
She disappeared on Valentine's Day in 1996. No missing persons report. But in 1987, almost 10 years prior, he wanted to have her declared dead to get life insurance? Am I missing something here? Because I feel like it's not explaining it. I didn't even realize those discrepancies in the dates until I was reading it out loud. Because in my head, I was just like, oh yeah, okay. Now I'm realizing there's discrepancies in that. Yeah.
It'd be worth looking into, digging a little bit deeper. But the thing is, when they found out who she was, they might have taken her missing persons report out of the system too.
Okay.
Classified it, because they were investigating a major serial killer.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. He had been in touch with the police, a PI, spoke with people who knew her and couldn't find her, according to the petition. Her absence cannot be satisfactorily explained, it said in the petition. So, I mean, there's people that have given some accounts of her being a really great person, a really good person, but she had a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people declined to give a statement about her, but
people with problems still deserve justice, you guys.
Yeah.
So in this situation, I really hope they figure it out. I've wondered this whole time if Rex Heuermann got scared and changed his tactics.
But yeah, because this seems to be dismembered.
Yes.
Not in the burlap sack. This is separate.
Yes.
Like the skull and the legs and the feet. This is all and where's her torso? Where's all the other parts?
Yeah. I have no clue.
So it makes me question that too. And, I hope that, it's, at this point, will they even be able to find any DNA that would even connect him?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably not.
I mean, if it's hair, that's one thing, but it doesn't sound like the bodies were kept in a good fashion that could have been saving DNA. It sounds like they're literally parts of her strewn across the beach.
In different beaches.
Yeah.
Different beaches.
Yeah, that's wild.
And that doesn't really seem to fit the other victims at all. It doesn't fit at all. So it's I don't think
Why?
there's why,
Why?
and I don't think there's any way that he only killed 3 people.
No, I don't think so either.
It's not even
Something's
possible.
not adding up. Something's not adding up at all. Maybe, they were already onto him, and he wanted to still do one more. You know what I mean?
She went missing in 1996.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is like way before the other victims.
Oh, victim 1?
Or is it not? Because they were found in 2010, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's victim 1. I'm not sure.
1.
What,
Yeah, also, if there was no missing persons report, and that's just the last time he talked to her, how do we know she was missing that day? Like, why are they saying she's been missing since Valentine's Day 1996?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think we should look into that a little bit more and bring some of those details to the table, because it's not even like we can theorize. There's just nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing for us to go on.
Yeah, but she has sons, and apparently he wasn't told about his mother being found and identified until after the press released it.
Okay.
So he found out with everybody else, even though they've known for like a year.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That sucks, but I'm sure there's reasoning, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's got to be reasoning here for this. They were investigating a serial killer, you know?
Yeah, there's reasons for it, but, I mean, I don't know. I think it would be kind of irresponsible, for the police to tell the family don't have any obligation to keep their mouth shut.
Yeah.
And they also need, to investigate to be able to get justice for
Agreed.
the victim.
Yep.
And she's been missing a really long time, so
Agreed.
I mean, it kind of makes sense for it to come out now, but maybe it would have been respectful to go to them before they released it.
Yeah.
Right before, and be like, hey, we found her.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to think why it might be beneficial not to say anything. So if they believe that could have been Rex Heuermann's first victim, and they didn't want to bring new attention to the case. They wanted Rex to think that the case was cold and dead and not going anywhere. So if they would have came out with the name when they found out about it, they were already investigating him. So to me, it makes sense. I wouldn't have done it either. They needed more evidence on Rex. Yeah. And that would have alerted him.
Yeah, it would have.
So.
But, I mean, I feel like I'm going to have to look more into Karen because, I mean, this is more supposed to be updates. I wasn't deep diving into it. I'm just telling you, what's going on right now. Mm-hmm. But I feel like that is a little bit confusing. Yeah. It kind of doesn't make sense. Maybe more information will come out. I mean, it doesn't... I don't see any, weird Did
situation
you not hear
there.
what I just told
you?
Yeah,
I did.
Why would he have tried to get her declared officially dead in 1987? That was, almost 10 years before she was missing.
So, there's one of two things either we're looking at. That's a typo. And we're asking this question for no reason.
1997?
Yeah.
So the year after?
Yep.
Okay. Maybe that's it.
Yep.
Maybe that's it. That would make sense. Because there's only one other article mentioning her father, and you have to pay to view it.
Yep. Yep.
And this is the only other one. I'm
going to assume that's just a typo because it doesn't make any sense. But if it's not a typo, then there's some other story separate from this there.
Which they should have listed. So I think you're right.
Yeah.
Because I just couldn't wrap my head around that for a minute. But I think you're right. I think it's totally a typo.
Yeah.
So also in the Gilgo Beach murders. They extended the search to Atlantic City, New Jersey, South Carolina,
Yep.
Vegas. Well, it's been now confirmed and eliminated that they don't think there's any connection to Atlantic City.
Okay.
Because they were investigating victims found dead along Black Horse Pike.
Yep.
And, yeah, they don't think it was him.
I wonder why. I wonder if we're going to get those reasons why. Now I'm going to need to look into those victims.
Well, so it said they compared dates, timelines, and methodologies.
Okay, so
and they're saying it doesn't seem there's a connection.
Direct evidence, probably with alibis, and if he was traveling, and got it. Okay.
Yeah, but
that makes sense.
They do think it could still be a serial killer.
So I wonder if they correlated it with his brother.
Dude, that's what I was saying. Like, what if?
Yeah, I
What
agree.
if it's a family
I
thing?
get it.
Like
I
a
get it.
family affair?
Yeah, I think that is like tinfoil hat,
A little bit,
but
yeah.
but it's worth thinking about.
It's
Just
worth
because
thinking about.
it's been proven that sociopathy can be carried in DNA, in genes, passed down. So, yeah.
Wouldn't that be wild?
Yep.
That
it
would be a twist if you found out it was like a family affair.
Yeah.
Like they all, like him and his brother have these same tendencies. But also, Rex Heuermann's wife has spoke out and released pictures of the inside of their house after the search. And let me tell you, their house is tore up.
Yeah.
Like, it is tore up on the inside. She posted a picture or gave a picture over to the media, and literally there is a chunk taken out of the side of their bathtub.
Yeah.
So you can see there's the inner basin,
Yep.
and then, like, there's that outer part that is, like, flat. They,
Sure.
like, straight up cut a chunk out, like,
Sure.
boxes and crap everywhere. But granted, if the police did say it was already super cluttered, like kind of given
So
the
we don't
vibes
know
of
what
a
the start
hoarder's
was.
house. Yeah, so we don't know what it looked like before. But this is a lot of stuff.
It is.
It's a ton of stuff.
It
And
is.
this is only 3 pictures, but it's so much. And yeah, I guess like when it's your own mess, it's your own.
Yeah.
And then when people come in and mess with it, it'll probably feel really stressful.
Yeah.
But apparently, I mean, the kids are distraught. I feel really bad for the family. She said that she had no idea what was going on, like at all. Like officially came out and was like, I had no idea this was going on. She said her daughter said something about like not even feeling human after like the way their house was, like the mess that was made.
Yeah.
She doesn't even feel human. And like the son is distraught and they all cry themselves to sleep every night. And they have had like other families of serial killers, 2 daughters, BTK and there's another one I can't remember, reaching out to them to try to give them support and stuff. So I do feel like something about his family feels really closed off compared to what I've seen other families. And I try to put myself in their shoes. And I guess obviously I understand why, because, I mean, they're probably seeing stuff online and in media and people asking questions like, how did you not know? I mean, for me, it makes sense. I get it. I understand why they would, feel some type of uncomfortable way. However, those are the cards they've been dealt. I think everybody goes through really horrible, awful situations, and unfortunately for them, and I feel bad for them, this is their really awful, horrible situation. You know what I mean? Now, I see them as victims. They didn't know. This guy fooled them. I truly believe that serial killers are with women or men or families to have an image for who they truly are. That's what I think, okay? So I see these people as victims. It doesn't make their
feeling in this any less. It doesn't make it easier for them or anything like that. But I think that they'll find there's a lot of people out there that are understanding. People just don't like different. And
this is pretty different.
That's different, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I bet it's super overwhelming. All of the attention. Like, they were living, like, this quiet little life before this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, their father is a serial killer, and the whole world knows who they are, and there's cameras outside their house 24/7. Their whole lives have been exploited.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They need to see some therapists is what they need to do. And that's really nice for the families of the other serial killers, you know, because, again, I think those people are victims. They're just additional victims to the chaos and madness of a madman.
Mm-hmm. You know, that's something pretty messed up, though. She said she had 3 cats and litter boxes were strewn and thrown on top of everything.
Okay.
What happened there? Because that's kind of messed up.
Yeah, I mean, listen, so when cops dig through a house, and I think it's probably even more serious for a serial killer, they are taught to dig with no compassion. They have one goal, and that goal is to find evidence in there that ties their suspect to the case, to see if there is any in there. Anything else is just in the way. They're not going to care about, you know, this looks fragile, I should be careful with this, or not happening. Time is important, and finding the evidence is important. And that's it.
Yeah, I get that. So what... In a situation where a family's house is searched and their property is destroyed, and they're not suspects. This is our family home, and they're not suspects. They haven't done anything.
Mm-hmm.
Do they get any kind of compensation?
No. They're just victims of circumstance.
They get nothing.
No. I mean, the federal government didn't make her marry him. So, she's a victim. I'm not saying she's not a victim, but there's no reason for local government to compensate them.
I get what you're saying. That would just be a really crappy situation to be in.
I mean, make sure you know the person you're marrying.
I mean,
because their stuff becomes your stuff.
Some people think they do know.
I get you. I hear you. But
some people truly think they do know.
We've talked about this before, and I think a big factor in relationships that people overlook because of how our society looks at it is your intimate relationship that you have with that person. If they aren't open intimately, then you're not seeing the whole person. In my opinion, that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
If they are open intimately, where you see them being vulnerable and pulling down walls, things like that, then I feel like that's a good gauge that you understand, and see who they really are.
So you mean like sharing intimate things that could be...
No.
That make them really vulnerable?
No, I'm talking literally about sex.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I mean.
Yep.
Intimate things that make them vulnerable, could be embarrassing, or they could feel ashamed about but still share it with you. Oh. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, that's deeper than I was thinking. I think that when you have a relationship with somebody and you're in situations like that, you can tell if they're being opened or not. You can either feel resistance, you can feel somebody holding back, or you can feel them, opening up and wanting to be around you, and you know what I mean? So, without getting into, graphic nature or anything, I mean,
I guess in the Chris...
It's a judgment call.
The Chris Watts case, the horrible case, Shanann did, like, feel him close off in that way.
Yeah.
And then that's what happened.
Yep. Absolutely.
Probably a pretty good indicator, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
so.
that's the updates. I mean, I think it's incredible she was identified and we at least know, like, the name. I really want to know who the woman is that is clearly related to the child, as the mother of the child. Like, that's, I mean, I want to know who they all are, but that one I feel like is, like, really curious.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's that general social idea of caring about kids.
Well, I want to know how the kid was involved. I want to know if the suspect list, like, or the, like, what we should be looking out for is not just sex workers. Is it kids too? And there was, like, the Asian male, which I've heard people talking about that lately, and it sounds interesting. It sounds like it very well could be one of his victims. Because I know in the beginning I heard you talk about it and say it's probably not, and we talked about it a little bit. Now I think it very well could be.
Yeah.
Very well could be.
Well, there's two different types of ending someone for a serial killer. There's their actual chosen victim, and then there's someone who got in the way.
Yeah.
So those will be two different things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, it seems a bit silly to think that he wouldn't change up his MO.
Yeah, I agree.
But
100%.
Anyway, those are the updates. We got a victim identified. We got pictures of the inside of the house, which I thought were interesting, like with hoarding and everything. Like, I feel like there's so much stuff there. They were definitely hoarders.
Yeah.
For sure.
Could be.
Hoarders is what it looks like to me, but I mean,
who knows what was in drawers and stuff like that, though? Like, I'll give them
or
the benefit
storage,
of the doubt.
like the
Who
basement.
knows? Yeah.
It could be stuff all brought up from the basement, I guess.
Because they got to go through it in light somewhere, you know. So they could have brought everything up. So, yeah.
Yeah, and Atlantic City is
it's
so
interesting.
far not connected.
Yeah, interesting stuff. But.
Yeah.